So this is the first video that I'm doing in the Nissan Leaf owner series that I'm starting. I'm basically doing it on, trying to do it on the same premises as Ian Simpson does his. I mean, he lives in England and I live in Sweden in a town called Mora, and it's a small town, has a population of about 25,000 people. It's in rather north up in Sweden, not in Norrland, so it's not really that far up. But for example, today is the 14th of January 2016, and outside it's about 20 degrees below freezing, below Celsius. I don't know the Fahrenheit on that, but if you have 5 Fahrenheit, that's minus 15, I believe, in Celsius. So that means that somewhere around 0 Fahrenheit. And well, we haven't acquired the Nissan Leaf yet. We're in the process of getting that done, and we're first off wanting to get a wall-mounted charging box and whatnot, starting in that end. And the reason for that is that, and this is probably going to come as a surprise to a lot of people that decided to get a Nissan Leaf or any other EV, is that we have no quick chargers at all in this town. No. So the closest quick charger to Mora is in Borlänge and Falun. They're approximately the same distance away. They're about 100 kilometers away. So therefore you need a wall charger, you need a charging infrastructure. There are no semi-fast chargers or anything in this town. The only thing that we have, and this is pretty funny, end of last year, Tesla installed 4 chargers, superchargers in Mora. So there are 4 Tesla chargers, but as most of you know, I mean, Teslas, especially the Model S and the Model X that currently are available, aren't rarely accessible for ordinary people. They're just too expensive. So, I mean, if I wanted to lease or buy a Model S in Sweden today, that would cost me in the excess of, as I've understood it, I looked around, about 1,500 euros a month, or 15,000 Swedish crowns. That we have crowns in Sweden, and so, and then so the choice obviously fell on the Leaf. Basically, it has quick charging. It has it's a reliable car. I've watched all of Ian's videos, and they're awesome. But you got to remember that where Ian lives in the Great Britain, there's they're getting down to 0 degrees, -1, -2, -5 maybe. And we want to, I really want to know, how does it perform in really cold winter weather, changing weather, summer, winter, fall, spring, all that. And that's really one of the things we wanted to know. So my plan, I've test driven the Leafs that the local Nissan dealer has. They have a 24 kilowatt version. They're getting their 30 kilowatt version on 16th of this month, I believe it was. And my plan is to, before that, somewhere, tomorrow or something, go out for a test drive with it, and hoping that it's still cold, this cold outside, around 20 minus. Then you should see what does that do to the range. I mean, I've seen Norwegians do it like -5, -10, but those are temperatures where the Leaf, it copes. So it drops down to, the range goes from maybe like 150, 160 kilometers down to like 120, 110, 100 maybe. And that's not a problem, because our main use for the car is to go from, go around town here, a couple of kilometers a day, maybe 10 kilometers, 15. So that's never going to be a problem. What could pose a problem is when we're going to my girlfriend's parents. They live 120, 130 kilometers away. And many people say, well, is that a problem? Yeah, you said you had a supercharger, a quick charger at 100 k's away. Well, I mean, yeah, sure. It's probably not going to be a problem, but you don't know. I mean, those aren't the only quick chargers. Then there are a couple of, semi-fast, Sudoku 16 amp chargers. One is like 50 k's away and whatnot. So therefore, it's very important for us to get the charging infrastructure up. I mean, and we live in a rent apartment, so we rent it, and I've talked to the company that owns, the housing, them, basically our landlords, and we've asked them, can we put up a charger, charge box, and they're like, yeah, sure, no problem, but we're not going to pay for it, so you'll have to pay for it yourself, and sure, why not? Because they have a couple of spare spots, that are for guest parking. But as they said, I mean, we could easily move around, the parking situation for those that have, that are paying for their parking spots with, power outlets for heating the cars. But that's, that's one problem. Those outlets are only 6 amp outlets. So it'll push out like 1300 watts, for your, car heater, your engine heater, or whatever you have for your car. That's not a problem. But you can't use those for a, charge station or charge box. It's not going to happen. So I've looked around. I mean, first off, I'm looking at the car in Sweden. We're going to lease it on a 2-year lease, and the cost of that is, if you go for the 24 kilowatt version, it's 3,090 Swedish crowns a month, or 333 euros, 362 US dollars, or 251 US or British pounds. So that's a reasonable price. I mean, you're going to end up with costs way over that, even if you're buy a petrol car. We just looked at the car I have right now. I have a Citroen Xterra Picasso, and I mean, we land about around those numbers, a couple of hundred crowns less, 30, 40, 50 euros less a month last year. And the year before that, we were way over this. We were up at, we were talking about, closer to like 360, 370 euros. You can do the conversion there. But, so since we moved here to Mora, we do a lot less, traveling, going far. Last year, beginning of last year, we moved here in May, something. We drove like 100 Ks, 200 Ks every other day to Mora, basically, because I'm from Mora. We are members of the local bowling community, and we compete and whatnot. So we had to go here for practices and whatnot. So there was a lot of travel that year. So that was that was an extreme year looking at it, mileage and whatnot. And at that time, we should really have had a Leaf, but still the problem, we wouldn't have gotten from where we lived to Mora and then back home, and that wouldn't have been possible. No charging, no whatsoever around. The local, you'd think in Great Britain, as I've seen on Ian's videos, there are a lot of, all the Nissan dealers have quick chargers, or many of them have them, and the quick charging situation in Great Britain, and also in Norway, if the country near Sweden, is totally different. I mean, Norway, you gotta remember that, is it like 95% of Norwegian power comes from renewable sources, water, wind, solar, whatever. So they're really into the whole EV thing. I mean, buying a Tesla in Norway is, you're going to save money on it compared to buying a real posh Audi or BMW or whatnot, because the incentives are so great in that country, in Norway. And they have free parking for EVs. Sure, we have that in Sweden, bigger towns, but cities. But still, I mean, they have that. You can drive in the bus lanes. I mean, you get the tax write-offs, and what you can. It gets really cheap to buy an EV there. And in Sweden, we have one incentive when it comes to real incentive when it comes to EVs, and that is that we have something called a super premium. So if you buy an EV, you'll get 40,000 Swedish crowns back. No, let's say about 4,000 euros, somewhere around that. But that's what you get. You think, oh, but that's a lot of money. Yeah, but I mean, the cheapest EV, if you buy one, let's say you buy a Leaf. The problem with the Leaf is that it's still going to cost you in Sweden in the access if you're going to buy the, Techna version, or for that matter, the Accent. I mean, it's like 36, 37, 38, 39,000 euros in Sweden. So from your, let's say 38, from your 38,000 euros, you count away 4,000. Oh, you still have 34,000 euros left. It's a expensive thing to buy. So therefore, the leasing program for Nissan in Sweden is, I'd say, decent, actually, looking at, leasing. you lease this car and you lease an equivalent petrol car, then basically it's double a month for the Leaf. But I mean, the running costs for the Leafs are a lot less, and if you utilize the quick charging, that is still free. Most of them in Sweden are, especially in Falun-Borlänge. Those ones are owned by the by the city, basically. Yeah. So they're not charging anything for that. You just go there and you charge for free, and that's nice. So for our longer trips, it's probably going to work out fine. But if you look at the numbers here, so as I said, the 24 kilowatt version, the numbers for that was 333 euros, 362 US, and 251 pounds a month to lease the car. And in the 30 kilowatt version in Sweden, if you're going to lease that, same there on a 2-year lease, it's 431 euros a month, 468 US a month, or 325 British pounds. So that's it. I mean, so that's the difference. If let's just stay with the euro, I mean, 431 compared to 333, I mean, it's like 100 euros. We felt that, 30 kilowatt version, sure, it's really cool, and it's nice that you actually get that extra mileage. You get a better infotainment system, they upgraded the, interface on it and whatnot. But that's basically what they've done. They have added, with some luck, 50k of range and then a better infotainment system. And we just thought that, it's not worth those 100 euros a month extra, and we're not going to have a problem with the range of the 24 kilowatt version. And for all intents and purposes, we don't know if they're going to have some kind of drive, maybe, because when I talked to Nissan, it was like late last year, so like October 2015, they said that they said, this is the price that we have for the 30 kilowatt version, but they didn't know any, if there was going to be any, maybe a drive in the beginning, to get people to go for the 30 kilowatt version. And I still haven't heard anything about that. So we'll see. I mean, maybe we end up with the 30 kilowatt version anyways, but it all comes down to cost. I mean, the main reason for us getting an EV isn't environmental. Sure, I mean, that's a plus. And that's the thing, I think, with many people that get EVs, is that they're not getting EVs, the main reason for getting an EV is not the environment. And I mean, it's a very important issue, and the climate change and all that, we can talk about that for hours. But when it comes down to it, it's about practicality. And if you're a tech savvy person, do you like innovation? Are you interested in something new, thing that's coming? Then I think that's more of a driving reason for people to get EVs than the environment. The environment is a plus. It just comes along for free. Your conscience can be clean if that's your thing. But anyways, so we come to the charging situation. As I said, there's no charging whatsoever anymore out there. There are no semi-fast chargers. There are no standard Sudoku outlets. There are nothing. And many people say, are you insane? How can you go for an EV in a city that doesn't have any form of charging infrastructure? Well, I mean, as Nissan and a lot of power companies and whatnot, what they point out is that, I mean, the whole thing with EVs, the whole ground thought is that you're going to charge them overnight at home, and then you're going to charge a quick charger for range. So if I'm going to, let's say, one of my brothers lives in Stockholm, that's 320 k's away. I'll have to go to Falun, charge up for 20-30 minutes, go to Gävle, which is from here, it's like, Falun is 10, it's about 100 k's away. Gävle is about 200 k's. So I go there and charge up in Falun, go to Gävle, charge up, and then go to Stockholm. So, I mean, it's not a problem. And a lot of people say, it's all that charging. Yeah, but once again, that's where we're at right now technologically, how it looks. The EV situation and charging times and whatnot. And once again, I mean, I'd love to have a Tesla Model S. I mean, I'd even go for the 70 kilowatt version, no problem. But it is too expensive. And we know that, in March 2016 now, Tesla is going to unveil their Model 3. But still, it's going to be a big cost. It's going to cost approximately, as I understood it, about the same price as the Leaf. But there's not going to be any leasing opportunities for the car whatsoever. At least not in Sweden. Maybe the Americas will have. I mean, I don't know. And when the time comes, I mean, I'm hoping that there's not going to be those delays with the Model 3 as there was with the Model X. I really hope that, but I don't know. So I mean, so we just thought, let's have the Leaf for 2 years, and once we're getting to the end of those 2 years, we know a lot more about the Model 3 and other manufacturers. Nissan, for all we know, I mean, their 2017 Leaf could be a lot, car with a lot more range and a lot more technical upgrades and whatnot. Basically, because a lot of people say that the 30 kilowatt Leaf is the Model 3 killer, and I don't believe that for 1 second. I mean, Tesla is so far ahead in the EV game that the others are not even. I mean, the problem is right now they're trying to, beat the Model S. High price premium EV with a really good range. But once they come up with those, I mean, Tesla is there with the Model 3. So Tesla is, as it seems right now, they're like one step ahead all the time. And I really, I really admire what Elon Musk and the team at Tesla are doing. I mean, they are really pushing the envelope and they're really on the forefront of a new technology that is ultimately going to be what we're going to go to. I mean, I'm not saying that we're necessarily going to drive electric cars, but we're not going to drive fossil fuel cars. We're not going to drive gasoline or diesel cars. This isn't going to happen. Give it like 20, 30 years, and that's going to be some kind of hobby. Like in Sweden, we have a lot of car enthusiasts that drive old American cars, but that's going to stay. But your day-to-day commute with a car is not going to be with a gasoline or diesel car. I simply don't believe that. And so that's it. And looking at the charging solution, as I said, well, as I've found out here in Sweden, I've looked around, different, maybe had to buy a wall mounted box and whatnot, and the options that are available are 230 watt solutions, either the 16 amp version or the 32 amp. Those are the two that are available. And and then there are different companies, and they have these big power companies that have their solutions. But they want it up in the excess, of approximately, around, 20,000 euros. No, of course not. Something around there. About 2,000 euros, 2,345 US, 1,627 British pounds. That was where they were lying, to install. Plus minus a couple of thousand Swedish crowns, a couple of hundred euros up and down, depending on if you're going for the 16 amp version or the 32 amp version. And I looked around for different companies that are selling these the wall boxes, with just with an outlet, so you can actually buy a Mode 1 to Mode 2 cable, and if you're going to get another car in the future. And I found out that the cost, if you buy one of those on the internet and then get a company electrician to install that for you, so that you have all your warranties and whatnot intact, is somewhere in the around 1,930 euros, 1,407 US dollars, or 976 pounds. Somewhere in the excess of that. I mean, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less. But the cost for buying the equipment itself is just it's what it is, and then it's the cost to install it. And when I've calculated on and looked at it, that's what you're landing on. You're landing around, if we just keep it on the euros for simplicity, I mean 1,293 euros if you get the box yourself, or if you let this company install it for you. I mean, with their own solution of box and whatnot, you're up around 2,150 euros. So that's a very decent cost, definitely. But then we're talking, 230 watts, 230 volts, 32 amps. So you're talking 6.6 kilowatt charging power. And I want that basically because, I was thinking about maybe getting the, 3.3 kilowatt version, or maybe I should get the 6.6. And I decided that we're probably going to go with the 6.6 kilowatt version, simply because then you can actually heat the car and not lose range on it, which you can't do with the 3.3 kilowatt version, or your standard Sudoku 10 amp outlet. And that comes in a lot more important here, since, as I said, in the summer it doesn't really matter because you don't have to preheat the car. But I mean, minus 20 degrees, I mean, 0 Fahrenheit outside right now. I mean, you're gonna have to heat the car. So if I go out the car and right now and don't have any don't have a preheat on, first off, it's gonna be cold as hell and probably gonna warm up pretty fast. But you're gonna lose a lot of range from the heat that you're gonna have to generate to actually be comfortable in the car. So that's it. So that's where we're at right now. I'm waiting for the company that we rent our apartment from to get back with specifications about the main fuse for the parking infrastructure, how long, how far away is the the central, the power central and whatnot, because these are things that the companies that install these units need to know. I mean, they need to know the main fuse, how big is it, so they know that, can I get the 16 amp version or can I get the 32 amp version? So that's where we're at right now. And then we're just going to order the car in, the coming days, since the launch in Sweden for the 30 kilowatt Leaf is, 2 days away. We'll see what what happens. Maybe they'll have some ridiculous, thing with it. I mean, I remember when the Leaf came out of Sweden, they had this diplomat program, diplomat leasing. What that meant was that you got to rent the car, you got to lease the car for 1 year, and for a cost of like 1,500 Swedish crowns a month. I mean, it's like half the price of what they're charging now. But you leased it for 1 year, you paid half what you pay now, and what you had to do was basically document what your ownership of it that year, on YouTube, social medias, whatever, basically not necessarily advertising the Nissan Leaf, but giving people the information that, that I'm giving you right now, that people are wondering about, because I was wondering too. I mean, the only guy that I found that had some excessive and, a lot of videos, went over all the different details on the Leaf was Ian Simpson. And he's an awesome guy, and he's really done a lot for the Leaf community. For us that don't know, I mean, that didn't know. Today I'm pretty enlightened compared to what I was before I found him. And so this is just me trying to make the same thing, but with a perspective that we have here in Sweden. A lot colder climate, shifting climate, not so much different from the United Kingdom, but the cold and the real lack of charging infrastructure. And so that people that live in Sweden, for example, or other countries that have the same problem with charging infrastructure, not being there, or the real cold winters, they're going to maybe get something out of this. And that's my thought about it. So until the next video, I hope you got something creative out of it. And if you wonder anything, you just post a comment down below, and I'll try to answer as best I can. Yeah, bye.